The words "identity rent" to dirty black trash were more poisonous than the Sunday air could carry. The insult cracked through the small world of Ridgewood Terrace apartments like a shot. It wasn't just a sentence. It was an eviction notice drafted in venom, signed with arrogance. It was a Sunday morning, the kind that once felt sacred. It's the kind where Benjamin Davis and Dorothy Davis stepped out wearing their best, not rich but crisp with dignity. Church clothes still pressed, Holy Bible still warm in Dorothy's trembling hands, held tight like armor that suddenly felt paper-thin. Benjamin stood frozen, 72 years old, 31 years at the Atlanta post office, never missed a payment, never missed a promise. 3 decades of sorting other people's lives, delivering their stories, sealing envelopes he never had to open. Only to have his own story shredded at his doorstep by a white man half his age, calling him dirty black garbage. Then Vincent Hartley stepped forward, blocking the hallway like he owned oxygen itself. Rich, arrogant, untouchable, or so he thought. His polished shoes clicked against the Davises' legacy. His stare dripped entitlement. "You think because you've been here 23 years, you actually own something?" he mocked, curling each word into a crowbar. He spat on the ground, not at the floor, but at their humanity. The spit landed near Benjamin's shoes like punctuation on a racist manifesto. "This building is for respectable people now," Vincent added, voice thick with supremacy and unchecked privilege. "Not welfare cases, not charity, not black." Dorothy began to cry, soft, silent, but world-ending. Tears glazing, but not falling, like rain afraid to leave the clouds. She didn't gasp, didn't wail, just cracked quietly under the weight of injustice. Benjamin reached for her hand, slow but steady. Thumb brushing hers the same gentle way it had for 47 years of marriage, lived faithfully. Dud. Under God and U.S. stamps. But what Vincent didn't know, oh no, was that the Davises were in T alone. They had an adopted son, the pride of their existence. A man who wore justice like a judicial robe. A federal judge living 1 week ahead of this terrible confrontation in apartment 4B of the same building. A judge appointed not by bias, not by charity, but by merit, forged from the Davis love, integrity, and sacrifice. Inside their home, the walls whispered louder than Vincent ever could. Every photograph on the wall carried a fortune richer than Vincent's rent ledger. Every piece of furniture wasn't bought, it was baptized in memory. Every scratch on the hardwood floor was an old laughter echo, a Christmas shuffle, a feet-first dash to save another human at church. This wasn't a unit number 2, Benjamin. This was the central post office of his soul. He used to sit in his favorite chair by the window, sunlight and headlines embracing him, coffee steam curling like hymns. Newspaper pages turning slower with age but richer in weight. Just 1 week before this insult would ambush his life, Benjamin had paused on an article about housing discrimination rising against the elderly and minorities. Landlords exploiting loopholes like snakes learning law. He had sighed, shaken his head, thinking, not here. Not after 23 years of perfect tenancy. Some promises in this world are still sacred. The irony was so brutal, it felt pre-scripted by tragedy itself. Dorothy would hum hymns in the kitchen every morning while tending her plants, geraniums glowing red like hope. African violets purple like royalty she never demanded but always deserved. A tiny herb garden breathed basil, thyme, rosemary, the scent of Sunday dinners stronger than hate could poison. Their home was quiet, ordinary, sacred, until hate kicked in the door. On the fridge, pinned with magnets and miracles, hung their most precious victory, their son, a young black man in graduation robes, arms wrapped around them both, smiling so bright it could blind prejudice itself. That photograph radiated joy, love, and justice not yet delivered, but already stamped, already sealed, already on its way, in Vincent Hartley. He stood there not knowing he had just picked a fight, not with an old couple, not even with black history, but with federal law. Divine destiny, and a family love powerful enough to subpoena fate itself. A small label beneath the photograph read in Dorothy Davis's careful handwriting, Isaiah, law school graduation, 2001. Every stroke of that pen carried quiet triumph, the kind earned through years, not words. Dorothy paused by it as she did every morning without fail. Her fingertips brushed the picture frame, like a prayer meeting, slow, gentle, reverent. She had touched this photograph countless times for more than 20 years, a ritual older than some laws and stronger than most hatred. "Isaiah called this morning while you were in the shower," she said softly. "He's been so busy lately, working too hard, as always. I worry about him sometimes." Benjamin Davis looked up from the folded pages of his newspaper, sunlight slicing across his silver hair. "That boy always works too hard," he chuckled. "A whole life of it. Gets that from you? That stubborn streak of yours?" Dorothy laughed, warmth flooding her eyes. "Gets it from both of us. I think we raised him right." They had not given birth to Isaiah by blood, but they had given him birth by belief, a kind of parenthood no doctor could sign off on, no science could forbid. They once wanted children so desperately that every diagnosis of impossible felt like a closed envelope returned to sender. Years of treatments, late-night prayers, silent heartbreak, all leading to the same verdict. Infertility sat between them for decades, like an unfilled seat at Christmas dinners and birthdays. A wound heavy and aching, folded into ordinary life but never forgotten, like an address you can't rewrite. Then came 1985, the year destiny finally walked in without an invitation. A social worker called on an ordinary Tuesday, the sentence that would rewrite their universe. "There's a 7-year-old boy in foster care. His name's Isaiah, born to a mother who couldn't raise him." Isaiah had been passed from house to house like discarded mail, unwanted luggage shuffled through human indifference. No placement lasted long. No visitor believed in his potential. His name was another tiny file in a massive system that had already stamped give up across his childhood. But the Davises didn't know how to give up on people. They drove to the group home that same week, hearts racing like a gavel, preparing to strike. There, in the corner of the common room, sat a frightened child, thin, small, silent, eyes trained to the floor because trauma had taught him not to look for permanence. Other kids were noise, movement, life around him, and he was a hush, a comma, a hesitation in the sentence of the world. Dorothy crossed the room quietly, knelt beside him on the cold floor. No pressure, no questions. She spoke not a demand, but an offering, a hand extended, steady like eviction protection, patient like overdue justice. Isaiah studied her face for what felt like a lifetime. Every second waited like cross-examination. Is this real? Is this another temporary stay? Will this disappear too? Then, slowly, with bravery scraped from despair itself, his tiny hand met hers. Fingers small, grip eternal. He never let go, not that day, not ever. Meanwhile, 3 miles away, inside the Hartley Property Management headquarters, the world looked different. Cold, calculated, owned. The corner office of Vincent Hartley screamed wealth like a courtroom screaming objection. His mahogany desk was imported from Italy, glistening with unearned comfort. His leather chairs cost more than most people's rent. Modern art hung behind him, abstract, gaudy, meaningless, much like the moral void he carried. Floor-toozling windows revealed the Atlanta skyline, which he admired daily like a ruler admiring subjects who didn't consent to being ruled. Vincent didn't build this. He inherited it. His father had bought the Ridgewood Terrace complex in 1975, built it to house hardworking families. Affordable, dignified, protective. His father believed housing was a right flavored with fairness. Vincent believed housing was a marketplace flavored with exclusion. Now, comparing rents like a man comparing human worth, Vincent seethed. Monthly rent on 4B, $1,100. Market rate now, $2,400. The Davises weren't tenants in his mind. They were deficit numbers. He slammed the intercom. "Donna, get in here now. I don't have all day." His assistant, Donna Ellis, appeared instantly young, anxious. Financially cornered by economy, morally cornered by orders, Vincent's voice snapped like a padlock tightening. "Pull apartment for B's lease, the Davis file. Find me something to use against them, anything to get them out." Donna swallowed hard, "Sir. They've never missed a single payment. It's 23 years of perfect tenancy. No violations. Spotless record." Vincent finally looked at her, eyes firing ice. "Then we'll have to get creative. That's what I pay you for." Donna walked out. No argument, no protest. Only nausea and silent dread. A moral conflict colliding with self-preservation in a job market that had no mercy for anyone without power. 3 days later, 7:45 a.m. Wednesday, a knock hit the Davis door. Not a polite one, not a neighbor's knock. A knock engineered to intimidate. Commissioned by entitlement. Delivered by design, sharp, aggressive. Loud enough to fracture old peace and summon forthcoming reckoning. Dorothy froze in the kitchen. The watering can tipped in her hand, basil scent hanging in the air like testimony. Benjamin paused mid-sip of coffee, knowing deep inside that the world outside had finally trespassed into their refuge. This wasn't a knock at wood. This was a knock at legacy, dignity, destiny, and justice still loading into the chambers of fate. A thunderous sequel was beginning. Dorothy answered the door in her robe, soft cotton, belted tight, hair wrapped for bed, humility unfiltered. This early visitors were almost illegal by etiquette in Ridgewood Terrace apartments. No one knocked before 9 o'clock a.m. The building breathed a slow, elderly rhythm. Quiet, predictable. But Vincent Hartley didn't follow rhythm. He interrupted it. He stood in the hallway like self-appointed royalty at a coronation no one planned to attend. A clipboard sat in his manicured hand like a judge's gavel, only this one ruled without justice. His smile was a cheap legal tactic, printed, performed, lifeless. It's the kind that said, "I already won, but I want you to try anyway. Mr. and Mrs. Davis, I'm here for a routine inspection of your unit. City requirements, I'm sure you understand." Dorothy tightened, spirit folding like paper facing fire. "We weren't notified. I'd always get written notice a week in advance. Always." Vincent shrugged like inconvenience was beneath his rent bracket. Last-minute scheduling that couldn't be avoided, I'm afraid. He walked past her without permission, body language fluent in arrogance, hostility subtle but fluent. Legally, maybe allowed. Morally, desecration. "This won't take long if you cooperate," but he lied effortlessly. It wasn't an inspection. It was a witch hunt, and they were the target species. He invaded the kitchen like a prosecutor, hoping the law would glitch in his favor. He opened cabinets, hoping for violations. Found none. Peered behind furniture, hoping for condemnation. Found only memories. Dragged his finger across the windowsill like a drill sergeant auditioning for cruelty. Photographed a ceiling stain, one that had lived there since 2018 and had been reported 5 times to his office. Each report ignored like a petition mailed to hate. "Serious tenant cause habitability violation," he said. Writing it like truth was optional. Benjamin Davis didn't blink. "That stain has been there since 2018. We reported it 5 times. Your office ignored us 5 times. Vincent finally looked up from the clipboard, voice colder than lawful consequence. "It's documented now as a tenant-caused problem. That's what matters." That S, when his eyes landed on Benjamin's retirement photograph, the day his legacy had been stamped in pride. Shaking hands after 31 loyal years of service to the United States Postal Service, Vincent smirked at it like victory already tasted bitter in his mouth. Cute. Very quaint. Then he left without courtesy, compassion, or acknowledgement of human existence. The door closed on his exit, but the insult lingered like an evidence stamp, filed under disrespect. Dorothy shut the door, confused, trembling, hurt blooming in her chest like a bruise that needed no photograph to prove it. Benjamin. What was that really about? Benjamin leaned back in his chair, war veteran of bills and bigotry, mathematician of motive. Trouble, Dorothy. Was fishing for excuses to throw us out. That same evening, lights dimmed, Herb's scent softened. The apartment became a courtroom of shadows and silent anxiety. Dorothy retired to bed early, soul drained, tears finally allowed to fall in the privacy of sleep. Benjamin stayed awake, alone in the living room, grief sitting opposite him like the empty chairs he once prayed would hold children. Kate's phone buzzed, sharp, loud, luminous in the dark. It was Isaiah Davis. Benjamin answered immediately, tired voice dressed in a suit stitched from denial. "Hey son, good to hear from you." Isaiah wasn't fooled. "Pop, Mama said a landlord has been giving you trouble." "What's going on?" Benjamin sighed. Weight, unfiltered, but still softened by pride. "It's nothing, son. It's just a young fool with a clipboard trying to audition for importance." Isaiah went quiet, the silence of a judge evaluating perjury. "Pop, I know your voice. You're not telling me the truth?" Benjamin hesitated, and hesitation was confession enough. I don't want you worrying about us. You carry enough already." Isaiah's voice hardened, heat rising like justice heating metal. "You and Mama gave me everything. You saved my life when nobody else would even look at me. If someone is messing with you, that is absolutely my business." Benjamin smiled despite the storm. He always did fight for the underdog. Isaiah exhaled love like law, precise, lifelong, irrevocable. "I learned it from the best professor's fate ever assigned me. You and Mama." Those words didn't slap like Vincent's did. They healed, sealed, delivered, and carried tracking numbers for the soul. A meaningful pause stretched between them, thick with the quiet love of 2 generations, bound not by blood alone, but by destiny rewritten through devotion. The silence carried the weight of unspoken vows heavier than notarized legal contracts. "Listen, Pop," Isaiah said, voice steady but warm. "If this escalates at all, you call me immediately. No hesitation, no trying to handle this yourself. Promise me." Benjamin nodded slowly, even though Isaiah couldn't see him through the darkness of distance. "I promise, son." "Good," Isaiah replied, softer now. "I love you, Pop. Give Mama my love too." "I love you too, son. More than you'll ever know." The call ended, but the connection never did. Benjamin hung up the phone and sat alone in the dark, but not really alone. The dim halo of Ridgewood Terrace's streetlight leaked through the window like cold evidence, barely enough to illuminate injustice, but more than enough to spotlight memory. On the fridge glowed Isaiah in graduation robes, that same tiny boy who once sat silent and scared, now a man towering in righteousness. In the corner of that framed triumph, a yellowed newspaper clipping sat tucked like a hidden warrant. Dorothy had pinned it the day it was published and never shifted it an inch. Time aged the paper, but not the pride. The headline shimmered, faint but thunderous. "Atlanta's newest federal judge makes history." The universe was warming its gavel for what came next. 5 days after the inspection, a morning ordinary enough to fool fate. Benjamin walked to the mailbox in the lobby, repeating motions rehearsed flawlessly for 23 years. Bills sorted by importance. Ads discarded without emotion. Sanctuary intact, or so he thought. The envelopes were predictable until one wasn't. A crisp white envelope, heavy with aristocratic gold embossing, carried the Hartley Property Management logo like a warning siren disguised as stationery. Benjamin did not open it. He recognized it. Malevolence whispered before paper spoke. He tore it open with a dignity that trembled, but did not fall. "Notice to vacate, 30 days." The words blurred like unconstitutional ink melting under heartbreak. The accusations stacked like counterfeit charges, unauthorized occupants. Tenant caused property damage, failure to comply with inspections. Each claim was a lie minted in cruelty, not law. Back inside their apartment, Dorothy was cooking breakfast, eggs sizzling in butter, coffee steaming black and bold, oblivious to the earthquake about to split the ground under ordinary life. Benjamin placed the letter before her like a bomb diffused too late. Dorothy read slowly. Each sentence extracted breath from her lungs like a collapsing building permit. "Benjamin. Unauthorized occupants? It's just us. It's always been us. I know. Property damage? We begged them for years to fix that leak. I know." She sank into her chair, life docking into shock without a seatbelt. The spatula lay abandoned on the floor like a witness too frightened to testify. "Can he really just lie like this and throw us out of our home of 2 decades? She whispered. "He's doing it, Dorothy," Benjamin said, voice graveled by betrayal but sharpened by resolve. "He's actually doing it." Ridgewood Terrace Management Office 1 hour later. Benjamin had never stepped into a landlord's domain in 23 years, until today. Donna, the young receptionist, engineered from recession, cortisol, and hourly paychecks, recognized him. Her breath caught. Her face whitened with guilt, not skin. "Mr. Davis, how may I need Vincent. Now it cannot wait. He's in a meeting with IMZs." The door slammed open dramatically like a courtroom twist, cheated out of an oathy melody. Vincent Hartley emerged. Sipping coffee like consequence was caffeinated entertainment. But Benjamin stepped forward, holding the eviction notice like prosecutorial evidence. "This letter is a lie. Every word, a fabrication crafted from malice." Vincent didn't flinch. didn't sweat, didn't blink a morally bankrupt eyelid. Documentation says otherwise. 30 days. Pack well. Benjamin moved closer, intimidation reversing its direction, like justice leaning in for a whisper before a roar. His voice was calm, the calm of a man too old to panic, too righteous to bow, too wounded to whisper. I paid rent on the first for 23 years. Not one rule broken, not one. Vincent set down his cup. The fake smile melted like perjury under heat. The predator finally showed teeth. Then he leaned forward close enough for Benjamin to taste hate in his breath. Gravel-voiced, coffee-tinged, reptile smiled, morally unlandscaped. "Mr. Davis," he said, voice slipping into honest cruelty, "let me make one thing absolutely crystal clear." Vincent's words came like venom sprayed into the air, curling and curling until it settled into every corner of Benjamin's chest. "I don't care what you did 30 years ago, 50 years ago, or ever. I don't care about your allegedly perfect payment record. I don't care about your pathetic little church, your pathetic little wife, or your pathetic little life that means nothing to anyone." His voice dropped to a poisonous whisper. Private missile aimed solely at Benjamin, dripping with undisguised contempt and hatred. "This building is going upscale whether you like it or not. Premium tenants with money to spend. Premium prices that actually make me money. Frankly, you and your wife simply don't fit the demographic profile I'm targeting for this property." The word demographic landed like gas filling the room, thick and suffocating. Benjamin's pulse didn't race, it steadied. He had heard that word all his life. He knew what it meant in the mouths of people like Vincent. It was never neutral, never innocent. It was dismissal, erasure, the world telling him he didn't belong. He repeated it slowly in his mind, savoring the bitter truth. Vincent smiled thinly, reptilian, triumphant in his cruelty. "You heard me perfectly, old man. Don't pretend you didn't." Donna froze at her desk, a statue of guilt and fear, fingers hovering above keys that no longer mattered. Her face drained to pale milk, shame practically radiating off her. Benjamin stared at Vincent for a long, silent eternity, 72 years of careful patience. 72 years of being told to wait for justice that rarely came, of enduring indignity with grace, of swallowing humiliation without complaint. Then, without a word, he turned and walked out of the office. Each step, heavy but dignified, a steel rod of pride encased in decades of honest living. His eyes were no longer defeated. They were calculating, planning, preparing. Back at the apartment, Dorothy sat at the kitchen table where they had shared thousands of meals. The eviction notice spread before her like a tombstone. Tears streamed unchecked, dripping onto the hateful paper. 23 years, Benjamin. We raised Isaiah here from a scared little boy into a great man. We celebrated every birthday with cake and candles, every anniversary with flowers and dancing in the living room, every holiday with family and food and gratitude. How can you take it all away? Benjamin picked up his phone from the counter. Isaiah's name glowed on the screen. He had never asked for help before, not when the car broke down. Not when Dorothy's surgery cost more than insurance would cover. Not when bills stacked like mountains against their modest income. But this wasn't about pride anymore. This was about Dorothy. Their home. The memories breathing in every corner. Right and wrong. Justice. Everything Isaiah had been taught to believe in. He pressed call. Isaiah, it's Pop. I think we need to talk. Something bad is happening. Day 12. Since the eviction notice, the lobby of Ridgewood Terrace Apartments gleamed. A transformed palace of wealth. Benjamin and Dorothy carried grocery bags, ordinary errands that should have been harmless. Nothing remained ordinary. Vincent Hartley stood at the center of the lobby, chest puffed, mind claiming dominion over a world that existed only in his imagination. A young, well-dressed white couple hung on his every word, jewelry sparkling like markers of privilege. Designer clothes expensive enough to shame Benjamin's entire monthly pension. As you can see, we're in the middle of a complete transformation, Vincent boomed, voice designed to dominate. New lighting, updated amenities, and a much more selective tenant community. Some holdovers remain, but they'll be gone soon. We're cleaning house. The couple glanced uncomfortably at Benjamin and Dorothy, witnesses to cruelty. Too comfortable to intervene, complicit in silence. Dorothy quickened toward the elevator. Head down, shoulders hunched, humiliation burning like acid. Benjamin planted himself on the marble floor, a man who had seen injustice for 72 years, refusing to bow. "We're standing right here, Mr. Hartley. If you have something to say it to our faces. Don't talk about us like we're not human." Vincent laughed theatrically, playing to his audience, dismissive, cruel. "Mr. Davis, this is a private business conversation with potential premium tenants. Don't make a scene." Dorothy stopped, pivoted. Voice shaking but unbroken, fury coiled into words. "My husband worked 40 years to provide for our family with honest labor. He has more integrity and honor in his smallest finger than you have in your entire body and soul combined. You are nothing, Mr. Hartley. Nothing but a small, cruel man with money you didn't earn." Her words echoed across the marble like thunder, leaving no doubt, no room for intimidation. She turned with dignity and rode the elevator upward, Benjamin following, head high, pride intact. Behind them, Vincent's smirk flickered, dying just enough to reveal the cracks forming in his armor of inherited privilege. The young couple scuttled away without signing anything, without a word of commitment, a small victory in a war that stretched far beyond one moment yet sweet all the same, a fleeting taste of justice in a world built on cruelty. Days passed, day 18, day 22, day 26. Each sunrise brought fresh harassment, sharper than the last. Another notice appeared, citing noise complaints from neighbors who swore they never filed any. The water was shut off for 6 hours until Benjamin threatened city intervention and criminal charges. A final inspection brought strangers into their sanctuary. Strangers who treated the Davis home like a crime scene, photographing walls, furniture, even personal mementos with cold, detached professionalism. During that inspection, Vincent leaned close. Voice low, poisonous, whispered words designed to leave marks invisible to the eye, but heavy in the soul. "Nobody cares about two old black folks in a rent-controlled apartment. You're invisible, completely powerless. You're nothing and nobody will help you." Day 28, Dorothy's breaking point. She sat motionless in her favorite chair, the photograph on the refrigerator glowing faintly in the dim light, Isaiah in his graduation robes. Smiling with hope and accomplishment, a beacon of everything their love had nurtured. Her sobs began quietly, then rose, deep and guttural, shaking her entire body like the trembling of the earth itself. This was no ordinary sadness. This was the collapse of hope, a mourning for a life threatened to be erased. "We worked so hard, Benjamin. We did everything right. Every bill paid on time, every Sunday at church, every act of kindness. Why is this happening? What did we do to deserve this?" Benjamin knelt beside her, ignoring his aching knees, took her hands in his, and held them with the reverence of a man cradling the world's most fragile treasures. "We didn't do anything wrong, Dorothy. Nothing at all. Some people in this world think power means cruelty. Money makes them better than others. They think they can take whatever they want without consequence. They're wrong. And they're about to learn exactly how wrong they are." Dorothy looked up, confusion and hope flickering through her tear-streaked face. "What do you mean, Benjamin?" "I called Isaiah yesterday, told him everything, every detail, every insult, every lie." Her eyes widened with a mixture of surprise and relief. "You finally called him? But he's so busy with his work. He insisted on coming immediately. Canceled every appointment. He's taken the rest of the week off. Said he has something very important to handle personally." Dorothy's trembling fingers wiped away tears as they returned to that photograph. The yellowed newspaper clipping pinned in the corner. Atlanta's newest federal judge makes history. Her baby boy. The child nobody wanted, now a man of formidable power, forged from love and perseverance. For the first time in weeks, she smiled through her tears. That boy always liked handling things himself. Day 29 to 10:48 a.m., a black Lincoln Town car, darkly tinted, purred into the Ridgewood Terrace parking lot, precision engineered in both sound and presence. The driver stepped out first, professional, alert, disciplined, and circled to the rear passenger door with practiced ceremony. Isaiah Davis emerged. 46 years old, tall, distinguished, presence commanding every inch of space without asking. Charcoal suit perfectly tailored, Italian leather shoes polished to a mirror shine. Every detail intentional, every movement precise, a man who didn't need to assert power. It radiated from him naturally. Two men followed, expressions carved from seriousness. One carried a leather briefcase, the other a thick manila folder bulging with documents and evidence. Their steps were deliberate, a mission-driven rhythm. Isaiah's gaze lifted to Ridgewood Terrace, the very building that had cradled him from a frightened, abandoned 7-year-old to the powerful man before them. His jaw tightened at the thought of the injustice done to his parents. He adjusted his tie, a measured action to ground his presence, and strode toward Building B with authority marking every step. The confrontation. Isaiah entered Vincent Hartley's office with calm, controlled force. The room itself seemed to bend under his presence. Vincent, mid-coffee, mid-smirk, paused, confidence faltering just a fraction. "Another Davis come to negotiate your parents' servant?" Vincent started, voice dripping condescension. Then he looked, really looked, and froze. Standing there was not just a man in a suit, but a tower of authority, composed calm and unyielding power. The man's posture alone broadcast control, discipline, and a lifetime of victories. Behind him, the two men from the car, professional and focused, completed the tableau, a visual declaration that this was no casual confrontation. "Who?" Vincent whispered, mid-word, awareness finally dawning that the balance of power had irrevocably shifted. "Who are you?" Vincent Hartley's voice cracked, disbelief lacing every syllable. Isaiah Davis stepped forward, measured, unwavering. "My name is Isaiah Davis, United States District Judge, Northern District of Georgia." He paused deliberately, letting the weight of those words fill the room, suffocating the air with authority. "And I am the adopted son of the two people you have been systematically harassing, discriminating against, and attempting to illegally evict for the past 30 days. The color drained from Vincent's face, like water from a broken vessel. Panic replaced arrogance. "We have documentation of fabricated complaints, falsified inspection reports, illegal utility shutoffs, and sworn statements from 6 former tenants you displaced using identical discriminatory tactics. All black, all elderly, all on rent-controlled leases." Isaiah closed the distance between them. Face inches from Vincent's, voice calm but lethal. "That, Mr. Hartley, is not a pattern. That is a federal civil rights violation under the Fair Housing Act of 1968. Vincent's coffee cup slipped from his trembling fingers and shattered against the floor, the sound echoing like judgment itself. "Please, I'll drop the eviction. I'll apologize." Isaiah leaned closer, voice dropping to a whisper that somehow filled every corner of the room. "You told my father that nobody cares about 2 old black folks. You called them garbage. You spat at their feet like animals. We're wrong." 12:30 p.m., Ridgewood Terrace lobby. FBI agents escorted Vincent Hartley out in handcuffs. Flashbulbs popped. Cameras rolled. Dozens of residents erupted in applause, relief, and joy, spilling freely after years of silent fear. Mrs. Patterson embraced Dorothy until they could barely breathe. A reporter approached Benjamin, microphone poised. "How does it feel knowing your son brought your landlord to justice?" Benjamin considered the question with the wisdom of his 72 years. "I'm proud of Isaiah, but prouder of who he is than what he is. We raised him to stand up for those who can't stand up for themselves. Today he did exactly that." Isaiah pushed through the crowd to his parents. "You okay, Pop?" Tears glimmered in Benjamin's eyes. "I'm okay, son." They embraced a fusion of past and future, love conquering hatred. Dorothy joined them, arms wrapping around both men. A family unbroken, unbowed, victorious. 3 weeks later, Davis' apartment morning light spilled across the apartment. Benjamin sat in his favorite chair, newspaper in hand. A headline screamed justice. Hartley Properties ordered to pay $2.3 million in historic discrimination settlement. He read it twice, savoring the hard-earned triumph. Dorothy hummed a hymn in the kitchen. Water flowed freely from the faucet, coffee brewed rich and dark. Plants thrived in sunlight. Peace reigned in every corner. A gentle knock. Donna Crawford, Vincent's former assistant, appeared, humility and guilt written across her face. "Mr. and Mrs. Davis, I hope I'm not intruding. I know I have no right to be here after everything." Dorothy's expression softened, warm and forgiving. "Come in, honey. Please come in." Donna sat on the edge of the sofa, hands clasped tightly, eyes red and swollen. "I came to apologize, face to face." Knew what Mr. Hartley was doing was wrong. I saw the complaints he fabricated, the racist things he said, the targeting. I did nothing because I was afraid of losing my job. Afraid of him? Afraid of my own shadow. I'm so sorry. Benjamin studied her quietly, discerning the courage in her presence, despite past failings. You came here today. That takes real courage, Donna. It dose and tea make up for what I didn't do when it mattered most. But when the FBI arrived, what did you do? Cooperated fully, gave them everything. Emails, recordings, documents. Testified under oath. I'll do whatever's needed. Dorothy placed a gentle hand on hers. Then you did the right thing when it mattered most. When it was hardest, Donna looked up, awe and gratitude mingling. How can you forgive me? Dorothy smiled, the same loving smile that had guided Isaiah decades ago. Forgiveness isn't about what people deserve. It's about what we all need to heal and move forward together. Legacy and justice. Donna's testimony helped secure guilty verdicts and maximum penalties against Hartley. 3 months later, she became a compliance officer for fair housing, ensuring no one else would suffer as the Davis family had. Ridgewood Terrace transformed under nonprofit management. Rent stabilized, maintenance responded promptly, community thrived. A bulletin board displayed photographs of residents smiling, the Davis family in the center. Bronze plaque. This building belongs to its community. Neighbors greeted Benjamin and Dorothy warmly, discussing grandchildren, church, and weather. A young black family struggling with boxes paused to thank them, recognizing Dorothy from the trial coverage. We didn't fight alone, honey, and neither will you, not ever again. Family and celebration Sunday evening. The Davis table overflowed with love, food, and laughter. Benjamin at the head, Dorothy beside him, Isaiah and his wife Angela across, children Maya and James completing the circle. Golden fried chicken, simmering collard greens, creamy macaroni, sweet potato pie, recipes passed down through generations, now shared with the next. Grace said, plates filled, laughter echoed. Maya looked at her grandfather. Grandpa, everyone at school keeps talking about how you were on TV, standing up to that bad man and winning. Benjamin smiled knowingly. I just told the truth, sweetheart. That's all I did. Your father did the hard part. Isaiah shook his head, voice thick with emotion. No, Pop. You taught me justice, courage, love. At 7, nobody wanted me. Thought you and Mama chose me. You showed me every person has value, deserves dignity. I'm a judge because of what you taught me. That is the only reason. Benjamin, tears glistening, raised his glass. To family, the one we're born into, the one we build, the one we choose with our hearts. Glasses lifted together, a family unified by love, justice, and resilience. Peaceful years later, sunset over Atlanta painted the sky in orange, pink, purple. Benjamin and Dorothy sat on their balcony, hands intertwined, watching their city, their son, their family. Do you think things will be different now, Benjamin, for people like us? He considered the colors fading into night. Slowly, Dorothy. But I know this, we're still here after 23 years, and that man, he's not. Dorothy laughed softly. It's worth celebrating. Everything, Dorothy. Absolutely everything. They sat in silence, comfortable, content, watching the sun disappear. Benjamin passed peacefully 4 years later, holding Dorothy's hand. Dorothy still lives there. Same apartment, same chair, same photographs. Every year on the anniversary of Hartley's arrest, Isaiah visits with flowers, food, and his children. They watch sunsets together, laugh, cry, and remember Benjamin's lesson. Justice isn't given. Justice is built by our own hands. One family at a time, one stand at a time. One single, unflinching moment of courage at a time. That is how the Davis family built theirs. A fortress of dignity, integrity, and unshakable resolve. And no one, not Vincent Hartley, not anyone, will ever take it away. Here's what this story teaches us all. Vincent Hartley looked at Benjamin and Dorothy Davis and saw what he thought was weakness. Two elderly black people with no influence, no connections, no apparent power or voice. He assumed they would accept injustice because standing up would be too hard, too risky, too expensive. He called them garbage, spat at their feet, told them nobody in the world cared. He thought the silence of society was his shield. He was catastrophically wrong. Not because Isaiah Davis happened to be a federal judge, though that certainly changed the course of the battle, but because Benjamin and Dorothy refused to accept what was happening as normal. They refused to believe they were worthless. They refused to vanish quietly. Every moment, every insult, every fabricated document, they documented meticulously. Every notice, every complaint, every lie, all recorded, organized, preserved. They reached out to neighbors and witnesses, building a network of accountability, a community of allies who could stand beside them, not to fight their battle, but to empower them to fight their own. And when the moment came in the lobby, when Vincent was smugged, condescending, trying to humiliate them in front of strangers, they spoke the most powerful words any human being can ever utter. This is wrong, and I will not accept it. That is where real justice begins. Not in courtrooms, not in handcuffs, not in million-dollar settlements. Justice begins in the simple act of refusing to be silent. The statistics are sobering. According to the National Fair Housing Alliance, approximately 4.5 million instances of housing discrimination occur in the United States every single year. Fewer than 1% are ever formally reported. Vincent Hartley counted on that silence. He relied on it like armor. But Benjamin and Dorothy refused to be invisible. Here's what you can do. Share the story. Not for views or likes, but so somewhere, a Benjamin and Dorothy are reminded that fighting back is possible. Know your rights. Learn the Fair Housing Act. Document everything. Report discrimination to HUD. It's free. It works. Be the witness. If you see discrimination, don't look away. Record it. Stand with the people being targeted. The truth is this. Vincent Hartley didn't lose because Isaiah Davis was a federal judge. He lost because the Davis family refused to disappear. They stood in the parking lot while he called them trash. They stood in the lobby while he humiliated them. They stood in his office while he threatened them. Through it all, they said, "We matter. We belong here. You will not erase us." That is not a legal strategy. That is dignity. It is available to everyone, everywhere. Vincent Hartley asked Benjamin a question in that parking lot. "What are you going to do?" "Someone," Benjamin and Dorothy answered. And that answer changed everything. Brett, if the story moved you, drop a comment below. Share your experiences. Have you witnessed injustice and wondered if standing up was worth it? Let's talk. Let's build courage together, because stories like this remind us of who we are, of who we can become. They prove that one person, one family, one moment of courage can indeed change everything. Hit like, subscribe. Share this with someone who needs to hear this today. Remember, justice isn't given, it's built. It's one stand at a time.